Renato, did you get the notification that we're recording? Great. Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Sidewalk Poetry Senses of Salt Lake information session. My name is Amy Childress, and I am the Public Art Program Coordinator for the Public Art Program that is within the Salt Lake City Arts Council. And here today with me is our Public Art Program Manager, Renato Olmedo-González. So welcome to our information session. Just so you know how the session's gonna go, it's gonna be about a brief 15-20-minute presentation, and then we'll open up to questions. I do wanna let you know that because I'm sharing my screen, I might not see if you have a question. So if you could place it in the chat, I would really appreciate it. So we are going to go ahead and start. So, Sidewalk Poetry, Senses of Salt Lake. So the Sidewalk Poetry Senses of Salt Lake, for our call for eligibility, this call for artists is open to all emerging and professional artists and writers or artist-led teams who are current residents of Salt Lake City, Utah, regardless of race, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, national origin, religion, marital status, political opinion or affiliation, or mental or physical disability. For this call, you must be 18 years of older and live within Salt Lake City. And we are really wanting to encourage emerging artists and artists without previous public art experience to apply to this call. So the project background. The Salt Lake City Public Art Program is seeking short poems or poetic lines, and we're looking for poems or poetic lines that are 80 characters or less. So not 80 words, 80 characters. And they can be in either English or Spanish. And they have to be from Salt Lake City-based artists and writers. So you need to reside within Salt Lake City, one of the 7 districts of Salt Lake City. And this project gives Salt Lake City residents the opportunity to display their own writing publicly and enables the participation of artists or writers without previous public art experience. So we're really wanting to encourage writers and artists who haven't worked with the public art program to submit their writing. And these chosen poems or poetic lines will be made into metal concrete stamp, and then they'll be stamped into fresh concrete around Salt Lake City sidewalk beginning this summer. And each poem will be stamped at least once around the city. For this project, we'd really love for writers and artists to focus on the writing prompt, how do you experience Salt Lake? What do you see, hear, smell, or feel when you explore your neighborhood, when you're running around town, when you're out at night, going out with friends? What resonates with you when you visit the Jordan River Parkway, the Bonneville Shoreline, City Creek Canyon, or any other notable public spaces in Salt Lake City? Salt Lake City is super special. We have this urban landscape that is right next to the mountains, and we'd really love to see creative writing that really celebrates that uniqueness of our city. I just wanted to include some examples. These are all short poems that are stamped in various cities around the country. And you'll notice that I included a lot of them that are focused on nature. And I just want to let you know, you'll notice in these that there is not a border around them, but I do want to let you know that in the final stamp, and I'll go back one slide, it will have a border similar to this poem right here. So just so you know what to expect if your poem is selected. So for the goals for this project, professional development opportunity and learning experience for emerging artists and writers. It's an opportunity for more people to work with the public art program, which we just would love to do, especially with artists and writers who don't have experience with the public art program. And it gives a resume builder, you know, for writers. This is your chance to be published. And we really would love to commission local writers and residents from Salt Lake City. So that is a really important goal for this project. Some of the artwork goals is we're looking for poems or poetic lines that are of the highest creative quality and exemplify strong imaginative writing that focuses on the beauty of Salt Lake's urban and natural landscapes, makes observations on why Salt Lake City is a unique and special place, and reflects on the fascinating history of Salt Lake City, as well as they could imagine the future of Salt Lake City. We are growing so much, and so I would love to see writing that really envisions what Salt Lake City could be. For this project, we say budget, but it's really the honorarium that you'll be paid. So we have 20 commissions available, so that means 20 poems will be selected. And then for each writer who is selected, each writer or artist, you'll receive a $250 honorarium. And you'll be able to get this through an invoice that you send to us. And if selected, we will go through that process with you. And we do have a limit of 1 commission per artist/writer or artist-led team. And the expenses that are covered is basically for this project, all you have to do is submit your writing. And all submissions for the public art program are free. And we will cover the poetry stamp fabrication and the installation. For our guidelines, so like I said, there's no application fee. We are looking for original work. So previous published work will not be accepted. Poems or poetic lines may be a maximum of 80 characters. And so it can't be words, 80 characters max. And this just has to do with the stamp, how big we can make a stamp and how well it can fit within our sidewalk. And we're looking for 1 submission/poem per artist or writer. And then we are allowing poems to be submitted in both English or Spanish. We highly encourage for Spanish submissions to be translated into English, but they're not required to. But if you do need assistance, we do have translating services and we can assist you with that. And so all you need to do is just email us at publicartprogram@slcgov.com. And then the application closes before midnight on February 21st, Wednesday, February 21st at 5 p.m. And we won't be accepting any submissions past that deadline. For our selection criteria, so the way our selection will work is we have a board, the Salt Lake Art Design Board, which is made up of 7 members from Salt Lake City District. And so in consultation with project stakeholders, we'll review all submitted applications deemed eligible and will recommend 20 artists/writers or teams, the Sidewalk Poetry Census of Salt Lake City Commission to the mayor, who will then have final approval. And then the Art Design Board will use some or all of these guidelines when reviewing applications. And so they're gonna see that the application is complete and submitted on time. And it meets all the formatting and submission requirements were followed as outlined in the RFP, and I can show you where the full RFP is shortly. And so with the formatting, just making sure it's under 80 characters. They'll also look at the final work meets the goals of the project. So the art goals that I went over earlier. The final work is unpublished and original work of the submitter. Again, no longer than 80 characters, and it's a written work by a Salt Lake City resident 18 years or older. For our timeline, our submission deadline is February 21st. On March 6th is when our Art Design Board will meet, and this is a public meeting, so anyone is welcome to attend. It meets the first Wednesday of every month. And so the Art Design Board will choose 20 finalists to be recommended to the mayor. And then in early March, we will let the writers selected know that they've been selected. And then beginning summer of 2024, the stamps will be, the concrete stamps will be stamped in sidewalks around Salt Lake City. For assistance and accessibility needs, refer to the Sustainability Accessibility FAQ linked in the full RFP on our website, and be directed to, and you can also email Salt Lake City Public Art Program staff at publicartprogram@slc.gov. And just allow for us 2 business days for a response. And then if you don't have access to Wi-Fi, you are welcome to go to any of the Salt Lake City public branches and access their computers and Wi-Fi. And I know a lot of them also have laptops that you can check out or use in the library. And like I said before, translation or interpretive services are available, so just email us for assistance. And for any questions, you can email us or email me directly. My email is amy.childress@slc.gov. And then thank you all. We're going to do questions, but I just wanted to show you our website. Renato, can you see that?
No, but I also shared the links on the chat.
Okay.
So I'm happy to share them once again.
Okay. So yes, so let me stop sharing and I will pull up that website for you all to see. Okay, so here's our Sidewalk Poetry website. It is through our public art, or the Salt Lake Public Art.org website, and it's under Call for Artists. So if you need to access it, you can just go to Calls for Artists and access it there. And then if you go through it, it lists more information if you need to go back. It also lists all of our submission deadlines, all the information. And then if you need to refer back to this recording, we'll be posting it here tomorrow. And then the full RFP is going to be here. And then the direct link to our submission is right here. So I'm going to pull that up so you can see. And so you'll just go over through this and fill out our submission application. You'll put your poem right there. And if you are submitting in Spanish, you'll want to make sure to include your translation within the same box. And then you will just submit your information there. And then if you did want to access our RFP, Renato, did you include that in the link as well? Great. So now I will open it up to questions and I'll pull up the chat. Does anyone have any questions about this call for writing?
Yeah, sorry, I think I was a little late. Can you remind me if there's an honorarium?
Yes, so each artist that is selected, a writer, will be given a $250 honorarium for their writing.
And I think Kira has a question.
Hello.
Hi, Kira.
I was wondering, is there any way of knowing publicly which artists were picked? Like, does the stamp include the writer's credit? Is there some sort of announcement or event or something connecting the
Yes.
two?
Yeah, so the stamp won't have the artists named on it, but they will be all listed on our website. And then if you would like to hear or if you would like to know who was selected in March, you're welcome to watch. You can attend our meeting, you can watch a recording or listen to the recording of the meeting or look at the minutes, and that will list the writers who are chosen. And then hopefully we'll have an event to celebrate all the writing when they are stamped into the concrete.
I would add that at the very minimum, we'll do a commission announcement. So this will be something that we do through social media, a press release. This is kind of like a standard once we have an artist under contract and the project is, fully conceptualized and finalized, we do an announcement on our end.
It looks like Jeffrey has a question. Oh, Jeffrey, I think you're on mute.
No? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Yes.
Hi. How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Do we know where these are going to be stamped? Do we have locations yet for the sidewalks? Is it going to be at random?
It's not
what
going to be
process-
random. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just what's that process going to look like for where they're going to be displayed?
So we are working with the city department who does new sidewalks or who pours new sidewalks. And so we'll be working with them. And then they'll be outside or near city property.
Okay, thank you.
It looks like Morgan Ray had a question. Is humor acceptable, or are you looking for more sedate beauty pieces? I think humor is very acceptable. We're looking for everyone's experience of Salt Lake. And which are the districts of Salt Lake? We have a website through the city where you can look up your address and see which district you're in. And there we go. And Renato linked to that. So we have 7 districts in Salt Lake City, so you can look at that. Can we keep our stamps? So no, unfortunately, all of the stamps will be housed on at city property, and they'll be used to stamp the sidewalks, and then we'll keep them. And we might stamp them more than once, but right now we're just doing 1 for each. Can submissions contain elements in both English and Spanish from J.R. Martinez? Yes, they can. And just so you can include a translation, and if they do include 2 elements and your poem is selected, we'll just work with you to figure out how you, basically for the Spanish poems, they'll be stamped in Spanish, but then the English translation will be available online. I just want to give space in case anyone has one last question that they want to ask before we end. Okay, great. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for this information session. This recording will be online tomorrow. And feel free to reach us at publicartprogram@slc.slcgov.com with any questions. You can also call us as well. And don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. But we hope you all submit. We're really excited for this project. Bye, everyone.